Hi, I'm Caroline. I work in the city manager's office. We have our city manager here, Jeremy Dennis. So we know who's in the room. We have our police commander, Mario Garcia, is here as well. Our public works director, Bozorginia. Wally's here too from the city manager's office. Management analyst, Matt is here. He works with me. Hey, Matt. Teresa and Jeff, you know. Noah's here. He's going to help take pictures. So thank you, Noah. So thank you so much for being here today. We just really wanted to take this opportunity to have a demonstration of what could potentially be a single camera at the community park. The city council has begun discussing the possibility of this to have basically the goal of being usage analytics. We oftentimes have really big events in town. We say, oh, maybe like 500 people came to the Festival of Lights, but it's always kind of our best guess, depending on how many giveaways are remaining. We want to make better informed decisions regarding maintenance and maybe even deter things from happening in the park that have come about. You might have heard that there's been, sometimes vandalism in the bathrooms, and it's not really easy to track down who did that, but we are responsible to clean it up. So we want to protect our assets. The goal today is to basically provide a demo of what we would see as staff. This is a pilot project that could potentially start in March. This is an item that will be going to the city council at a March city council meeting, I believe, first meeting in March 5th. If the city council decides to go forward with the pilot project, it would be for 90 days, and it would be a single camera, which we have brought on loan to us from Verkada. So thanks, Molly. It would be that camera. It would also have, we're going a little bit out of order from the agenda, but a sign to make sure that it's clearly marked that it's the community awareness camera. And I'll just leave that here for now. So going along the agenda, it's where we hope to have in that 90-day period the chance to see how many people came by, how many people went to that farmer's market taking place right now. Event-wise, there's not too many going on in the spring in that park, but still there's a lot of weekend parties. As a result, there might be a lot of trash that is building up at trash cans. So these are things that we as staff happen in the park. Then there is to determine next steps. Again, Micah is here from Verkada. He is the one who will be walking us through the software that the camera offers. So I'm going to turn it over to him to start his short presentation, and then we'll have time for questions at the end. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Caroline. I appreciate you guys all being here today. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Let's get him all.
Yeah, before you really
Okay, there we go.
Right.
Perfect. All right, once again, thank you guys for all coming out. I appreciate you guys all being involved and wanting to learn more. So first, I'm going to show you guys just a little bit of a presentation on who Verkada is and some of the work that we've been doing in the community. Then after that, I'll go into the demo. I'll essentially just show you what it's going to be looking like from the city administration side and how it's going to be utilized to help you guys. So about Verkada, we are the fastest growing physical security company in the world. We are based out of San Mateo. We currently are, honestly, we were founded in 2016. Our team is now over 2,000 members, and we currently now have 16 offices all over the world. So here's some of our trusted California state, local, and education communities that are currently using us. Some of the notable ones here is the San Mateo Foster City School District, UCLA, UC Santa Cruz, and the city of Half Moon Bay. Just showing this to show you guys, the work that we have been doing in your guys' community. So the reason why people go with Verkada is because of our ease of use, our 24/7 support, and our native integration. For our ease of use, from the city administration side, it's going to be very easy to use, has an easy interface, and it's just a pleasant experience. For the 24/7 support, we make it a pride of ours, essentially, that we want to resolve all of our issues. We solve 95% over the internet, and the first contact is within 55 seconds. We really pride ourselves on this because if something happens, we don't want to leave you guys in the dark. Yes.
I wanted to make one more introduction. Councilmember Kern has joined us. Councilmember Kern.
You have to use this for the Facebook.
We have to use both. Sorry, Facebook. For those that didn't hear, Councilmember Kern's here. Councilmember Kern was instrumental in bringing this item forward for council consideration, so he wanted to join us today.
Thanks for
No worries.
coming.
Great, thank you. So what our solution is we're a cloud-based solution, is we have our Verkada products that are the hardware that back up to the cloud and then to your devices. The hardware back up to the cloud, and that's where all the storage is, and then it will stream to the city administration devices. I want to point out that from an administrative side, the only people who will be able to view this footage is who the organization determines is the appropriate party. Your data will be secure. So what we're doing as a proof of concept, potentially on March 9th, is a 90-day pilot where we will look at usage analytics for the park to help get a better understanding of how essentially we can keep the park safe and how we can possibly help out with events. Cool. Now I'll switch over to essentially what the city will be seeing. So this is essentially the Verkada camera. This is what essentially the city administration would be seeing. This is essentially the CR63, which is sitting on the table there. This is essentially the same view that they would be having of the park. Something that I do want to point out for your guys' own privacy is we do have our live face blur. This is something the park wants to utilize just to stay on to keep the privacy of the residents. If there is an incident, they will be able to turn it off so they can get better insight to when that or what that incident is, but that face blur will be staying on. So I also wanted to point out in the archive footage, this is the saved footage, that for the saved footage, you can essentially determine who needs to be blurred and who does not. So if someone walks through, that's essentially a person of interest, what you can do is have the other people blurred, and then the person will walk through, and you can determine that that's the only person that their face wants to be seen. When we do this, we're just doing this for your guys' privacy, so that you guys know that your guys' essentially privacy will be secure. Perfect, so this is more so the usage analytics that we'll be doing. This is our occupancy trends. You can see that we've drawn these lines here. We have one over the sidewalk right here, and we have one over the crosswalk. This is what it would look like on the administrative side, and this is how they would get essentially the analytics to know who's coming out of your park. You could do this over the crosswalks in your area, or you can see the farmer's market. If you guys wanted to do this at the entrance of the farmer's market, to get better analytics for who's coming in and out, this is how we would do so. When we create a report of the analytics, this is essentially what it looks like. What you can see here, the green is for the people that are coming in, the red is for the people that is coming out. You can set it for a specific date and time, and this way we'll be able to generate the reports that will be able to help the city.
Is that the number of people coming in and out?
Yes, the number of people coming in and the number of people coming out, essentially, of that area, yes. So that was essentially all I had to show you with the camera. I know it's not too complex, but I am here to answer any questions, comments, concerns for you guys. Are there any?
Please raise your hand.
Okay, I just wondered, was there an incident that happened that made us feel we needed cameras? Thank you. Sure.
Yeah, Caroline, you might be able to answer that better than me.
We're going to hand it over to
Perfect, thank you, Councilmember.
Guys, we got a 2-night special today. Thanks for the question. So back in late summer, I guess early fall of 2004, we had a person that was leaving chicken carcasses out in the park. It was to feed the coyotes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was right next to the playground, which is the last place you want to be leaving chicken carcasses. And so that was the first example that I had in my time here that I actually witnessed and talked to residents about. And so that was number one. Number two, we've had some graffiti that has happened in our bathrooms. Our bathrooms are essentially unlocked most of the time over here at the park, and we've had folks going in to face them. They have just recently been redone, so we're a little frustrated by that. We had the demo here saying, demonstrating that the faces are blurred. You can see that here, but what that will allow us to know is who's going in at what time. I shouldn't say who will know a person is going in at what time, and it allows us to identify trends. And we can associate that back maybe with any damage. And last but not least, we have our dog park that's located behind City Hall over here, and that is an off-leash facility for dogs. You can go there and just let your dog run free. There are people that come to community park and let their dogs off leash. Some dogs are friendly, some dogs are not. I've had personal instances where dogs will charge me at community park, and people say my dog's friendly, and I have to say, so is mine. I mean, you met my dog, my dog's friendly, but my dog might not be. And then we also had an incident in town where there was a dog and a person that got hurt, and a dog was attacked because it was a dog off leash at the park. So, yeah, so these are just some of the incidents. Now, we haven't had anything major or anything that the community should be wildly uncomfortable with, no major crimes or anything like that, but we would have this technology available to be pulled and used in a situation where that might happen. We're currently working on a pretty extensive, and I've seen a draft of it so far, data storage policy and access policy, meaning only Jeremy's office staff, and that's the city manager's office only, not city staff, city manager's office only, would be able to pull this data for whatever reason we need. And if it's going to be something that the police need access to, they're going to have a case number associated with it. So they just can't pop in and have a look when they want to. It's going to have a case number. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, mostly. I'm wondering, did we ever find out who it was that was leaving the carcasses for the coyotes?
The official answer is no.
What kind of, I hope?
The unofficial answer was it was resolved at the Brisbane Inn.
Okay. Okay, no, wait.
Members of the public found out who was doing it
Yeah.
and they addressed it on their own.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So much for the camera on that one. Okay, no, wait. So the second thing that you mentioned, what was the second thing that you
the
mentioned?
graffiti,
Yeah, like, how is the camera going to help with that?
we'll be able to see when a person is going in and out of the bathroom, and then we'll know when the graffiti happens. So let's say there was no graffiti at 7 a.m., but there was graffiti by 11 a.m. We can be like, well, some folks traveled in and out of that space at this point in time. They were wearing red Nike shoes,
Yeah.
and we can start watching and seeing who's coming and going at those times.
How does that help you identify the person? I mean, unless you zero in on their face.
Well, the camera's not there to help us identify the person. The camera's there to help us identify the trend of the person that's doing it, and then we can pay attention to who's in the area at that time. So it gives us one more tool to watch out for who's doing it and when. These cameras don't always help solve a crime, but they're a little piece of information. You guys are probably paying attention to the news with Nancy Guthrie right now, and these cameras are just helping piece together different aspects of what's
Yeah, it didn't make a lot of difference for her.
It's not, well, it hasn't at this point, but
Yeah.
generally speaking, these provide a level of detail for us to pull from in terms of this data. Yes, sir.
Frank, how will Brisbane Police Department integrate this type of technology to what they're doing now and hopefully modify some of their ideas and days on how to proceed and get better at solving crime and helping the community?
I am going to turn that question over to Commander Garcia.
To my special, yeah.
I already forgot about the 2 mics.
Hello, everybody. My name is Councilmember Garcia.
Yay.
For this camera purposes, although it's generally used as a community engagement planning and using as tools of how to use the park, in terms of incidents that happen, when they do happen, you would be surprised, because we live we are a community of a silo. Brisbane is coveted, only people that really come to Brisbane come here, and believe it or not, are undesirables. Sometimes Nike shoes, we know who that person is. Their clothing, we know who that person is. And a lot of times when we do get graffiti, whether it's inside the bathroom or outside the bathroom, unfortunately, people don't always call to when they see it, because it may not be worth it to them to call. But then we get the calls Monday morning, or public works will see it Monday morning, and they'll let us know. This tool will give us, the advantage of saying, okay, did someone go in there with a backpack? And, a lot of times you'd be surprised if there is footage, their papers are painted. Because they can't have the spray over.
Yeah.
So those clues will give us that at least type the timeline, and then it's people creature habits. So people will come back to it again. In regards to the loose dog, how many times as community members do you walk your dog over the same time every day? So a person that brings their dog to the same park every day at 3 o'clock, but by the time we get there, they're on leash. But initially they're off leash. Well, then we can kind of tighten that down, make our presence known, and then we can educate the behavior.
Thank you.
So that's how we would integrate into this. It would be a completely need to know, because it's not a security camera, it's an engagement camera, but it does have the backstop of being able to see it. To be a search, we would then request it within the results.
And by that information, you should be able to find out whether a citation is needed to be issued or not, or?
Well, current law doesn't allow us to cite people based on video technology, but it will definitely gear us up for information, at least be out there, and deter it or stop it.
So to stop it from happening again?
Yeah, stop it from happening again, or you'd be surprised. People who just let the dog use and not know that there was an ordinance, or they can't do that, or because it's friendly. Right? The ordinance doesn't give you that off that.
I see somebody with 2 dogs and know that they don't have no leash.
Absolutely, and then a lot of times too.
One person walks with his dog, he's got a leash in his hand, but he doesn't have the dog on a leash.
Absolutely, and then again, everyone has a routine every day, so we would then come out here during that routine time. A lot of times we can't be out here every day during certain times, but maybe someone has a set pattern, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we would be out here on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Another thing, when they I'm not that. I can say no. I forgot now.
I'm here, so anytime after I leave it.
So, Commander, you're all for it, Commander?
What's that?
You're all for the cameras?
So, like this, and I bring it back to this, and it's unfortunately in the line right now, Nancy Guthrie issue.
Yeah.
And I've said this in council meeting before. If there's an incident, anything with a lens that records, I'm all for it, because we can, that's, whether it's used for that or not, we can ask for that information. And if it's not there, it's not there. So, it's always a good thing to have backstops in terms of being able to get that information.
So, now wait a minute, I want to say something. In the Nancy Guthrie thing, it hasn't really helped though, has it?
Because there was not cameras around, or street cameras, I mean, obviously, but if there was street cameras around and more footage, you can start putting pieces together and it gives you more clues.
Okay, so I'm still wondering, it seems like a really, part of the genesis of the whole thing was the dogs off the leash. And I've been out there, I've walked dogs, for a little while, where I would go to the park and there were dogs, and always, my dog's friendly. So but my thought is, a way to really cut that to the quick is to have someone out there probably for 5 days and cite people, because they come at the same time, just like you said, Commander, and cite people, and that word, believe me, would spread to all the dog people, I believe, and I think that would be a very effective way to do it.
It does to a point. I've had this experience in another community where I was the city manager. It was in Portola Valley, where folks were very fond of having their dogs off leash in areas.
Coal Valley, did you say?
Portola Valley.
Oh, Portola.
Yeah, behind Stanford University.
Yeah.
And in the short term, it can be somewhat effective, but within a week or two, people are back to doing their previous ways, because they know somebody in the park actively.
And so the cameras would affect that in what way?
Well, the camera, it should be, I would hope it would be a deterrent from the start. If we're going to have a sign, there's a sign over here that says we have the community awareness.
Oh, I
camera.
see.
So if people are aware that there's a potential for us looking at something later that they did incorrectly or illegally or otherwise, that alone should reduce some of the friction. That's our hope.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I wanted to emphasize one other point. You know, we're taking very seriously the privacy piece of this.
Yeah.
The policies we're drafting it is going to have, it looks like a retention policy going 30 days, which we think is totally acceptable for a community awareness camera. And I want to reemphasize one of the points that was made earlier. The access will only be granted if in the police situation there is an active case, or they've assigned a case number. And then outside of that, Parks and Rec will be looking at data, but it'll be anonymous, it won't be related to specifics. Other than, I could see situations if we had somebody who reserved a space at park and trashed it or something like that. Parks and Rec's gonna wanna come back and get more information. So I just wanna put that reassurance out there and take that very seriously.
Okay, and then there was also, someone brought up ICE access,
There
that they would
be
have.
no ICE access, none.
Really? Okay.
Well, because we said, and Micah, yeah. You might have seen.
Yeah, no worries. So what our thing is essentially when you buy from Verkada, you will be buying your own data. You are purchasing this equipment out front, so that means you also purchase your data. We will not give your data to ICE. Your data is essentially your own data, and they will not have access to that data. I know some other agencies or other camera organizations have come under essentially like a little bit of heat because of this, but this is because the customers are renting the equipment.
Oh.
And so their data is not theirs.
That must be what I
So
saw.
the city, you guys are buying this equipment, your data is yours.
The other thing that may have happened in some of the other communities that
Yeah.
we've heard about, the back end does have checkboxes that you can make related to who accesses data. And there may have been situations where some of that wasn't given the attention that it deserved. But, and, you know, we're actually working behind the scenes, working with the Chief of CS and Caroline on a community message, and we may bring something to the council, just to allay some fears there, because we're very
Yeah.
confident that our data from our flock systems in the police cars are not, it's not being used by us.
I remember what I was supposed to say.
All right.
Actually, how many dogs you supposed to have on the leash?
How many
Dog, in here.
All dogs. Dogs must be
I mean,
on leash.
There's one person,
One dog, one leash.
yeah, I saw some that had 4 or 5 dogs.
The dog walker.
Oh, wow.
Dogs, they're not dog walkers, but the ones that, not dog walkers, the owners, they have 4 or 5 dogs.
As long as your dogs are under control and each is on a leash, but I've seen people have 2 dogs on one leash.
Because
As
I
long as
saw,
it's under
it
control.
was on the news, it was in a Star, I saw the news, the Star thing, I read that you allow only 4 or 5 dogs. That's what I was saying.
Well, there may be some rules in each city about how many animals you can have in your possession.
Yeah.
I've seen that for
Yeah.
cats and roosters and other things. I'm not sure I've seen it for dogs, but I understand your point.
Yeah.
For Micah. How good is this technology in identifying dogs or coyotes, mountain lions, to share that information with animal control to let them know that, they may need to come out here and check on a coyote or a mountain lion or a dog that's, going after people or other dogs? Is this technology really good at identifying them, zooming in on them close up, so they have that so they can go after that particular wild animal or unleashed dog?
Yes. So what we actually just came out with is we have animal detection. This is an alert that we have. So if you guys wanted to be alerted whenever there was like an animal sighted at the park, that could be set up. A new feature that we're also coming out with, it's about to be, I believe it was actually announced today, is it will be fighting detection. So if 2 individuals are engaged in a fight, it will alert essentially city managers so they are able to find footage that way also. And then so essentially you can set these alerts so it will notify the city managers when these incidents occur.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course.
I have a question.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Can you tell us a little bit about the auditing features?
Yes, of course. Here, let me pull this up. So from an administrative standpoint, this is the auditing feature. So essentially what you can do here is, what you can do from the login and access is you can essentially see all the people that have access to any shared links related to the camera. So this is an easy way just to track down essentially who's viewing the footage. But we also have here is the security and logs. So within the audit logs, you can view who was viewing the cameras and when. So you have a timestamp essentially of who and when is viewing this footage. So if let's say someone somehow was able to view this footage, this is another way that you could double check that this footage isn't being viewed by anyone that isn't supposed to be.
How will the city council be informed? Hold on a second. How will the city council be informed of the progress that we're making with the camera systems? And if there's any rebuttal or response to that progress, so we can understand how we're doing as we go along?
I think that's a great question. Now, our intention is at the end of the trial period that we would go back to council and report on how we utilize the data. What we found, if there were any trends that were interesting, just from seeing how people come in and out of town, if there were incidences, we'll report those as part of the audit itself. And then the council can make a decision on whether or not they want to continue to use the camera. One interesting aspect of the cameras is essentially mobile. You can take it to different places. So from a staff perspective, we certainly have been thinking about how you can utilize that for a variety of other needs. You can target certain areas if there's something going on in those places. So for instance, the example the Councilmember Kern came up with the chicken, if someone was doing that somewhere else, we would put the camera up there and monitor it for a period of time.
I would like to see the business people in town get involved too, by maybe understanding that this camera is something that we can take and have a day or two where we're monitoring the main street with that, just to kind of give them an idea of what we can do for them.
Yes.
And once we get them on our side, we'll be able to say, okay, in the future, if this program works well, we'll need one or maybe two more cameras to cover all the areas we want to cover, and see what the potential is to help them as well.
Exactly.
Because the more people we get on our side, and the more people we know that how the system works to them and help them along, the more we're going to be able to serve the community properly.
Yeah, that's why I think we're pretty excited about the pilot. This is what comes out of it, and that will give the council very rich information to make a decision whether they want to continue it permanently or some of the course.
Sir. Okay.
Jeremy.
Oh, thank you, Jeremy. So 2 questions. One is, I'm totally unaware in the past 5 years how much vandalism has there been, for instance, in the bathrooms. And then also, what does the camera, I saw it on there, so the camera is going to cover what area of the park? It's not the complete park, is it just the bathroom, or what's it covering?
Yeah, I don't know if you were aware of Mazda in previous incidences. Occasionally we have incidences, but I can't say that they're on a regular basis. But
yeah, it seems so safe. It seems safe already, you know?
Well,
it seems like we have a safe park.
And there's no we have a safe park.
Yeah.
We have a very safe community.
Yeah.
We are well served by police in this community. But there's always, what this will let us explore is if there's opportunities to enhance some of the public safety features that they're already getting. Camera location, what we've considered is, if you look out the window here, on the south side of San Francisco.
Right near the chicken trucks, the farmer's market.
Which side are you on? The park side. Why don't you come up here?
Right there.
Hi everyone, Bozorginia, Public Works Director. So yeah, there's the truck right there on the corner, on the park side of the 5 corners. You can actually see the brackets already been mounted. We had a lift that was rented for other maintenance work, and we took delivery of putting the bracket up in advance of this pilot period. So it'll be over there, and it's positioned. It has about 260-degree angle view. Is that
correct? Yeah, it's dependent specific on the camera.
Yeah, so it's got a pretty wide angle lens, and so it'll be able to gather pretty much from the gazebo area all the way over to the playground and kind of the bathroom infrastructure over there. So that was the idea as far as having the spread for this.
Now, is the camera here? It's here right now, right?
It is.
Yeah,
Here.
Is it possible to carry it over there?
Just gonna walk out.
No, I mean, it's whichever one
Oh, I'm sorry?
For the demonstration, what you were just demonstrating, is there a way to demonstrate?
Oh, no, we haven't installed it yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not installed, so the bracket's up, but it'll have a battery backup and solar panel that is yet to go up there.
Okay.
With the camera, that will be going up,
March 9th.
Thank you, March 9th.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy.
Another question for Micah. So this camera will stay secure on there no matter what the weather, because we've had some really bad storms here, like late last year and early this year. So the camera's going to stay secure on there and it's not going to fall down or get damaged in any way.
Yeah, correct. We have like an outdoor rating of IP67, which essentially is like the highest outdoor rated camera. And then also it will be securely bolted in, so it will not go down in the case of like a storm or a weather event.
Okay, great, thank you.
And if someone tries to take it, we'll have videos.
Now, I know you were talking at one time about having the camera for city functions. Has there been any other thought about that for special events to be opened up to a website or something like that for a special event for only that particular time frame or whatever? I mean, I'd like to see us use the camera for some, for lack of a nicer word, some fun stuff too. This way everybody can be involved and get a little more enjoyment out of it, as well as the security.
The council discussed an opportunity to essentially have a live stream of the camera, or they didn't get specific to events, that I recall from the conversation. The council ultimately decided this time not to do the live stream. There were some privacy concerns that were related at the council meeting, but that's up for future consideration. Other communities certainly do what you're describing now. Either the camera's showing something going on in a particular location, or it's on a stream.
Have we thought about any kind of monitoring of our traffic flow in that area to kind of give everybody an idea that they're being watched a little bit? Maybe we can make a complete stop now instead of running a live. You know, little things like that. I know when we're watching you, you tend to put your foot on the brake a little bit more.
I think everyone here knows the staff is very creative. We're always thinking about ideas and how we can utilize the systems that we have. So there's certainly been conversations related to how we can deploy in that case.
And I know you were telling us at one time that you were going to be putting the notification in the blast about the cameras being installed, the signs being up, and how it's proceeding. And this way, basically, everybody can also feel that they're being told how things are going without having to come to a meeting.
Exactly. I think it's been the philosophy of the city, but it's certainly a philosophy of mine that I've been emphasizing in my year and a half is to over-publicize what we do. Everyone in this community has a little different way of connecting with the city, whether it's a signboard, blast, star, word of mouth. So we've been flooding the airways, if you will, related to this, and we'll continue to put out information just so people know. And if they wish to engage, you can come to council meeting. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, last question.
No, please.
Okay, so when we have the concerts in the park, we can all rest assured that we're being filmed. We'll be on camera.
Well, if we're having concerts in the park, if the camera's been extended, it's a 90-day trial period, so that will run us through, that'll be the first concert. Yeah, so yes.
But it's publicly not going to be where it's open and during the pilot.
It will not be a live stream.
No, it's
It
not
will
a live
not be
stream.
a live
But
stream.
you are going to be captured on a video that's stored.
Yeah,
So
great.
yeah.
Okay, I'm just like, I'm old, you know, and it's just like,
No, it's-
I'm so sorry. I love Brisbane, and I feel that it's so safe and so wonderful.
It is.
And I'm just like, why are we
It's
doing that?
well, it's open to
And you're answering those questions, you know.
Yeah, there. You know, we live in a world at this point where cameras are everywhere. If you walk down your street.
True. And why add another one is what I'm
Every
saying.
single, well, there are cameras here, and we do feel as though there's an opportunity to, if it does turn out to the pilot, to enhance community awareness and public safety, we should take advantage of that. I think it's a trend that is inevitable in most places, as cameras are shown to bring forward results. I was a skeptic when it came to ALPRs.
Really?
When I was in Portola Valley, we had a couple incidences that required us to think about it. I was skeptical that it was actually going to provide results. But it did. It was incredible what we were capturing on the cameras as it related to things that were happening in the community, but also incidental things as well. And I know Mario can attest to how useful the flock cameras have been in a variety of situations that have made this community
Yeah,
safer.
definitely,
You know,
definitely.
So I certainly understand the concern. I mean, we're living in a world that you're just always being surveilled, it feels like.
Yeah.
But
And I was unaware that there were problems in the park. I love the park.
Yeah.
And I love seeing all the little kids and the dogs and, you know, all of that. So it's just, I don't know. I'm just old.
Are we aware of all the
Now we
other
got-
cameras?
I'm sorry,
that are
there's a
in
couple
the
other
areas
people-
too? Okay, I'm
a couple
sorry.
of people raised their hands, yeah.
I just have one question. I mean, probably about 6 months ago, someone on Solano Street's car was stolen. There was a camera. I saw the footage that was taken. I was able to tell quite a lot about looking at it, like what this, and yet because there's the rule that you're not allowed to pursue beyond 25 miles an hour, so, you know, the perp got away and it was never solved. So let's say the camera gives you this information and let's say you want to get right on it, you want to get up, but if someone zooms away, you can't pursue the person.
Thank you for the question. The intention, at least through the pilot program, is not to be monitoring actively. So that isn't something that would be happening. So this would be after the fact. We would theoretically get a report from a resident related to some incident, in this case a stolen car. Then if that, let's say it happened here, we would look at that data to see what it would give us. It would give us a license plate for vehicles that came into town. Would it show where people went to? And that is the piece of the puzzle related to the investigative process.
Yeah, but the thing is, like in the case of the Solano theft, they took the license plate off, so that identification was erased. And, you know, the camera can't be everywhere, although it's got a 260-degree span. It can't be everywhere all the time.
I think the best answer I can give is you do your best with the tools that you have. We know that this tool won't solve 100% of the issues, but if it solves some of them in a way that's respectful to the community's privacy and other issues, then we think it's worth the pilot at least.
How is it respectful?
I don't know if there's anything you want to do.
Question over here, yeah. So from your experience, and you were converted. At first, you were skeptical.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the camera, how it works as a deterrent, not just catching people who do the wrong thing, but and apprehend or do whatever. But it's more deterrent if people knew, they see the sign. Do you have data that proves that it's very effective to deter? I mean, I'm thinking of something small. I wasn't even thinking of this, but Aurora mentioned about people who don't pick up the dog poop in the park. Stuff like that. It's really annoying. It may not hurt somebody physically, but it could. But things like that. If people knew, they know better to not do that. But if they knew the camera's on, would that deter?
The deterrence is a hard thing to always demonstrate, particularly if you're in a community that does have very, very low levels of issues, right? And sometimes causation is a correlation, so just want to acknowledge that. I can say that in this community, we've deployed cameras at locations where there's been dumping, and they've been effective. People are not dumping in those locations because they know there's a camera. Sophisticated people, if they know there's a camera and they want to do something they shouldn't do, they're going to do it, and they're going to figure out a way to do it. But we'll certainly look at any data that can support that there's been a deterrence factor. And we won't be using camera to police stop it, because that will happen. So, yeah. Other questions? Sorry.
You really answered part of my question already, but I guess the other thing that I don't know if everybody realizes how much cameras we already have already that are serving us already and doing a good job that maybe we're not aware of yet. Because the city is using cameras to function in a lot of different areas, but maybe we're just not aware of all that yet. So we're kind of putting a little more weight on this one because this is gonna be a little more, for lack of a nicer word, personal.
Yeah, it's new, and I think with anything new, there's apprehension related to it. So we want to be able to roll this out in a way that we've addressed concerns that people know where they can come to ask those questions and show its effectiveness one way or another.
Jeremy, can you speak to a little bit about the policies and being developed specifically for this camera? Again, we're putting one camera here for the park. It's not cameras plural, it's one camera. And the data policy and privacy policy around this camera are different and enhanced from the other cameras that the city is using.
Because this is a community awareness camera, one of the things that it allows us to do is to have a shorter retention time. If it was under a public safety situation, that's a longer retention. We're cognizant that people have some concerns related to privacy, even though you've seen some of the features that I think make it a great system. So that's one aspect of it. Secondly, so that gets us to the 30-day piece. Secondly, you've heard in the policy there'll be very specific rules about access. It'll have to be through my office. I will grant that, and then you'll be able to see it in the audit. Is there a specific partner for you?
I just wanted to point out that the policy is different.
Yeah.
For this camera.
It's a different policy because it's a different camera system. It's intended to do something a little bit different than your classic flock camera in a police office.
And so the camera footage is kept for 30 days, is that what you're saying?
That's
It's
correct.
erased after 30 days?
It's deleted.
Okay, thank you.
It seems to me that it would be most effective for monitoring Brisbane residents rather than outsiders, because outsiders can get away. And you're not gonna know where, they can go anywhere. So it seems that then if you have an identification of, let's say, the Nike sneakers or something, then, you're on the lookout among Brisbaneers for red Nike sneakers or something like that. It seems
I see what you're saying.
I'm continuously surprised how the tiniest piece of information or evidence can lead you to a conclusion in an investigation. And that extends outside of our borders. We can have an incident happen in town that isn't from a resident, but because we glean something from a flock camera or other piece of evidence, we go out and we work with our partners in other communities to move forward on that situation.
Sure. Can you also speak to?
So I just want to briefly speak to, again, thank you guys for coming. This topic is fascinating to me, and thank you, Mike, for doing a great job today. So our community park here is divided into 3 different zones, and those zones are permittable, and you'll see that start happening in late April all the way through the end of October. We actually permit these spaces on the weekends, and we're sold out every single year. Maybe we should increase pricing. But those folks are from outside Brisbane. I should say not all of them. A vast majority of those folks are from outside of Brisbane. So to your question, this camera will allow us to monitor those activities on the weekend when City Hall is closed. And if someone makes a big mess, which has happened, not always, because we've got good processes in place to quality check the site after they leave. But if someone makes a big mess, this camera allows us to know, what happened, what specifically was there.
That's a great case in point.
It's a great case for park and recreation, for sure. I've not met Micah before, but I did meet one of his counterparts, Joe, and he came in and did a demo very, very similar to this. I wasn't familiar with the technology that moved to this level, where faces at this level of quality, and I asked his counterpart, hey, can you do a quick dog count for me? And I was very impressed at how well it was able to capture the number of dogs. And there was a brown Toyota Corolla driving by in a scene, and it had a stuffed animal dog in the back window, and it picked up on it. So the technology is pretty good.
And I think that's a good segue to the aspects of this that can enhance the kind of services, particularly through Parks and Rec, that we can bring forward. If we're collecting data and we understand that X people use the park at this time, or we have dog owners at this point, or et cetera, we can then tailor our programming to be even better for people. Maybe it's a different time. There's all kinds of possibilities associated with it, and we, our partner cities, have been sharing some of that information with us. So that's really exciting, that we can tweak things in a way that we already love, or maybe bring something brand new to the community just because we see that there's a desire for it. I'm interested, for instance, in attendance at the farmers market. What does that look like? And if, depending where the attendance is, when do we bring it to augment it? Or are we in a good place? Those are the things that you can't capture right now unless you have somebody out there with a clipboard. That's just a skill. You wouldn't want me out there with a clipboard.
Hi, I just have one more quick question, and this is for our police officer. Police commander, sorry. When you get the footage from this, the police are going to act upon it right away and make sure they investigate it, and it's not going to be, it's going to be, they're going to make sure that they go after if there's a crime or if a dog is off leash or something. Because they always say, you know, if you see something, say something. I just want to make sure that they're going to use this evidence and act on it right away before the footage is deleted.
So 100%. So when we request data, it will come with a case number. And most likely there's already an incident being investigated. We can then export that data to our evidence, which we can use for prosecution.
Okay.
So we would immediately have it, because once we request it, we get it, and then we can safeguard that for every evidence for the DA's office. But then, yes, we could then use that for our investigation.
And the police chief is going to make sure that all the officers follow up on all the evidence.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Especially when we take cases, we don't take cases just to take cases. It goes to the DA.
Okay.
So those are prosecuting cases.
Okay, thank you.
And I think it's worth noting too that certainly during the pilot period, you know, our intention isn't to go after every single person who's got a dog off leash and all of that. We're going to gather information where we see issues that are egregious. We're going to work on that, but we want to be thoughtful too. We don't necessarily want to get inundated with a lot of calls that make it hard to manage the program as well. But this is where we're going to start to learn things. So just want to make that point.
Okay, thank you.
So many questions. We're out of questions or no? Anything else?
Is it very expensive?
What are the costs?
That's a good question.
Uh-oh, who's that?
I should know this off the top of my head. The camera itself was very.
The camera itself, I believe, was around $1,500. I believe is the price online for it.
Yeah. And then the ancillary costs associated with staffing. Yeah.
I'd just like to personally thank everybody for giving this some great attention, because this was kind of personal to our family because of what happened to us. Our dog was attacked on the street here in June, and he's okay now, but as I said, we were very worried about him in the beginning. But the whole point is if something good can come out of something that wasn't so good, that's a great thing. And I think we're realizing that we have to make adjustments in what we do and how we work and how we address things and such to make things better for everybody. So by saying something out there, if you have a problem with something, by notifying the police department if you see something that's incorrect or should be corrected, please speak up. Don't be quiet. They're not mind readers. They need to get your help to do anything. So it's important to speak up and let them know what they're doing. That's the only way we can proceed and have our city grow and be better. So I want to thank you very much for all the help you've given our family. So I want to thank Frank especially and Jeremy for all the work that they put forward for this project. And my next door neighbor, Angela, who is one of the persons who helped us get this started along with this young gentleman here. So as I said, it's important to get out there and just make sure your community goes better by speaking up. So that's all I have to say. But thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being an advocate. And this is, I always like to slip something like this in when somebody gives me the mic. If you're not participating and using your own voice, someone's speaking on your behalf, and they may not be saying what you want them to say. So participation is critically important.
I did have one more comment. I'm very, very sorry about your dog. That's horrid. And I'm wondering, like, am I supposed to hold it? Not so loud. Okay. So if in fact we see, or whoever's monitoring the cameras, they see dogs off leash, what happens?
You can always let us know.
No, I'm saying the people, if nobody in the park is complaining, nobody sees that the dogs are off leash. I'm wondering, whoever looks at the camera footage, is there someone that's going to be looking at it daily? And how is this helping with dogs off leash? I'm still confused about that.
So as the pilot's been developed, our intention is, I'll call it a reactive system, if you will, right? There's no one actively monitoring. So we would need to be aware of the situation. So In this case, someone, a resident may contact us and say, there was a dog running around. We can go back and look at the data, we can make a determination.
Gotcha.
Is this worth exploring further, or are we just gonna see what happens in the next couple of weeks? If we get complaints, we can do some stuff behind the scenes to track a little bit and see if there's an emerging problem, if there's a one-off. You know, again, every day there might be somebody down here off leash, and we just hope the camera being there is enough to get people to think. Well,
To
maybe
deter, basically, yeah. And if it doesn't deter and the dogs still, you know, the owners still come and the dogs are off leash, the camera doesn't really impact it one way or the other, unless someone complains that there's a dog off leash.
And
right?
Or people complain, and we put a code enforcement officer there, and then
Yeah.
lets the dog off leash, and then the code enforcement officer says, hey, your dog's off leash.
And I think it would be wonderful if we just, even forgetting a camera, whether or not there is a camera there, for 5 days to have a code enforcement officer there, because they come every day without the leash. So if we're really focusing on dogs off leash, that would be the way to stop it.
I appreciate that, yeah, it's.
And I wish we could do that.
Let me
Because this
think
was
about-
hideous what happened to him. And it's happened to other people, I think.
Let me think about whether deploying an officer during the
Yeah.
pilot program would make sense.
And whether you think that it really does, to me, it makes a lot of sense, that people will know there's somebody out there and you
Yeah.
can't have your
I've
dog
seen
off leash. Yeah.
Well, it can't be permanent, so the code enforcement
No.
officer, obviously, you know, he's 8 to 5.
I didn't mean
he's
permanent,
got
yeah.
lots of other things going on and.
I didn't mean permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can understand that request, but I also know what the challenges are that are being faced, and I want to remind people that we have eyes. We don't need an officer there, but if we can get a commitment from the police department for that period of time, that they will get someone out there if we call.
People
during
don't
that,
call.
You know. Well, we were just talking about a week.
Yeah.
For that.
That's true now. Anyone can call us now and say that, you know, there's something going on, and hopefully we can catch them by sending something.
So, this actually happened in a part of Brisbane. I'm going to try to keep this anonymous so that I don't expose any names, but a neighbor said that there is a dog that goes to my lawn every morning.
Yeah.
But by the time we got there, you know, when it takes the dog to do it, the door opened, the dog goes back in. Because that person had a camera and he went back in his footage, we knew the time. So yes, we deployed our code enforcement officer at that time.
Oh, good.
And guess what? When that door opened, we were there to greet the dog.
Wonderful.
And that person habitually kept doing it until they got $500 a day.
Yeah.
And guess what? It stopped. But it would have never happened if that camera was not on the other person's vehicle. Because we needed to know what time. And this was where we had to adjust our schedule because this was earlier than when our code enforcement company. Our code enforcement officers aren't here all day long. I mean, we've got one. He's not here 24/7.
Yeah.
It was happening so early in the morning where there was enough data, so we adjusted the time and corrected behavior. So this is exactly where a pattern can emerge, and then we can deploy our resources on how we would address that. It won't catch it right away because no one's monitoring it. But then if the same person calls me, it happens every other day at this time, then we can at least know what kind of dog. And every dog is unique. It's not just, oh, well, I'm looking for a husky. Well, today it's a chihuahua. We're gonna, okay, that's one thing that we caught, but maybe we're still looking for the husky, right? We're not huskies out there, but. So that, yeah, the data is, it can be a lot of help to us. So that's how that.
Thank you. Yeah.
I did talk to the officer. I told him there was a guy up there in the park without a leash. I said, where'd he go? He went that way. He's gone already.
Right, and then I don't know, I mean, I know Micah has only touched upon some of the analytics of this, but it will, if we were to get data, this data creates what's called bounding boxes in terms of tracking. And if someone says, hey, they went up that street, it would tell us how far they went up that street.
Yeah.
And then it tells us, well, okay, well then we'll wait up that street because now we're going to
But he
compose
was
this.
walking around and everything, running around.
Right.
the park and everything.
Right, but this could tell us, I mean, this has a lot of data that can tell us, okay, they walk up visitation, they walk down towards the quarry, but then we can actually use that to our advantage.
Yeah.
So the phones
So Commander Garcia just hit on the analytics piece of this. The analytics piece of this, Micah, would you do us a favor and just run through some of the data elements that will be available at the end of this highlight?
Yeah.
And could you enlarge the screens, the text size, so we can see it
Yeah,
from
of
it
course.
here?
Thank you.
Sorry, I think that's too neat up there.
Let's see a movie.
Perfect, so from a.
No, not perfect.
Analytics.
Large, bigger.
Can't see.
Can we zoom in
Yep.
here? I'll hold that for you.
There you go.
Maybe more. That's it?
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So from the administration side, or sorry, from the analytics side, what you can do here is, from here, you can go into the analytics. We would go into the occupancy trends. So this is the ones just dedicated to this camera. When I go into these occupancy trends, essentially what I can do is when I go to the edit lines, this would essentially draw the boundaries for the certain areas you're looking at. So this is the front door. Let's say this is the crosswalk that you guys want to monitor. This is where you guys are going to get this analytic from. So this is the boundary that you guys have. What you can do now is, so we have it set for this week, you can pull certain analytics from essentially any, if you guys want to look at it for the month. You guys can do this, and now the city can get these analytics to see how they can better serve your guys' community. Does that make sense?
So it's a body count.
Essentially, yes. So it's an in and out, yes.
That's great. So that comes along with a timestamp. So if we're wanting to visit the park between 3:30 and 4:30 in the morning, we can do that.
100% yes. You can get as granular as you want with it.
The question was,
That sounds better.
could we count the number of people that are in community park between 3:30 and 4:30 in the morning on any given day?
Yes. So let me pull it up. So what you could do here is if you wanted to go from the day, so you could go from here, and then you could essentially from right here, you see 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., this is where you could pull this footage. And then you could get the specific counts down here when you go into the footage with a timestamp of the incident when the motion is detected.
Oh, so you have to watch like hours around this.
Correct, yeah, I would pull it up instantly.
Fantastic. So in the city of Brisbane, we're always curious which band is most popular at our concert series in the summer. Can we use this technology to count the number of attendees?
100%, yeah. You could draw it over the main entrances, and then you could get a rough estimate of who your guys' favorite band is.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Of course.
In that picture you just
Hold
put
on,
in the-
Alan.
I'm here. In that picture, you just put the three. Can you put up the three, the door opening? Yeah, with the three pictures. Can you estimate the age of that middle one? Is that a kid?
Yes, no, that's not a kid. It's actually my coworker.
Okay.
She's the same age as me.
No, I'm just curious. I'm just curious because there was some concerns by our current city attorney that kids still have an expectation of privacy even on a public sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I did not think, I don't know the actual state law here, the state law, but it seems to me if it's a public sidewalk, it's a public sidewalk. Public sidewalk. Have you guys, has the company run into any issues?
As far as I'm aware, no. It's never been brought to my attention. I believe it is angled mainly towards the front door, and I think from a privacy way, there is the base blur and anything. If we were going to export this data, this is essentially just, our organization's data. We're not supposed to share this. I was just doing it for the demonstration, which was also why I had the live face blur on.
Okay,
And most of the footage from the park will be little kids.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, no, great question. You know, this is what the live face blur is for, and for that historical footage. If you guys wanted to pull that, you could have that face blur on through there also to protect privacy.
Noah.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Hey, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
The second mic's no.
At the same time, okay. This is more circling back to the topic of dogs, and on more of a question for our police officer in terms of monitoring for potential neglect or abuse of animals. And I say that as a concern for a dog owner who will remain anonymous, but they do live on San Bruno Street. In regards to, I do see all the time, they have a little scruffy black dog that is just always out, and I have always had to like make sure that he doesn't get run over by cars and make sure that he is like safe. And it's been an issue. Like I've had to make sure that dog has been safe like a countless amount of times. And it's come a concern where like I brought him back and like I brought it up with the owner, and it's clear that he has no interest in keeping that dog safe.
And those cases unfortunately happen. And like I think we need to stay focused on the platform of this. Is the security portion is a byproduct of what the camera can do. Obviously, we would not only rely on this camera, we would rely on neighbors' cameras, any cameras that you walk up and down the street. We would then request those videos, and if those are given to us, those are case builders. This is just to help with the case building. So yeah, although that's not the main purpose of this, there's always, anything with a lens, anything that stores data is always a byproduct that can be security based. But this is not that for intended use.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
No, it's too bad. I mean, getting back to Solano, but that there isn't like I think that the database doesn't extend beyond San Mateo County, and that's too bad.
So,
you know, if there were a broader database, it would help you.
So I can answer that also with recent language about other camera features. And this is where this security is built into this. This is a closed system. It's ours. We are not sharing it. So, but it's a closed loop system. It's ours. We own it. Unlike other platforms, we may be sharing that data with someone else, and we can't always help what gets shared outside. So this has that one layer of security where this is in-house only. We are not sharing this.
No way.
So, which is
No, but I didn't mean in that sense.
Right.
I meant in the sense of catching people from outside San Mateo County. Once they're beyond the limits of San Mateo County, there's nothing you can do.
Well, so on the investigative side, we have what's called track flyers. And let's say we get a picture of someone that's wearing blue backpack and red shorts, and we can then send that photo out through our investigative network, called BOL, be on the lookout. And that gets to everybody. And then they can say, hey, we have that person here, or we know who that person is, and then we get notified that way. So this is not the only tool we can use, there's other tools we can use as well.
But I had heard that there isn't a broad database.
There's not a broad database, but there's a broad flyer base. So we can send a flyer, it's called a track flyer. And we can send that to nearly anybody we know, if we know they're only in San Mateo County, or we can send it further out than that. But it would be a still shot, it's a flyer. And a lot of times, like, those flyers hit us directly on my officers on the street. And you'd be surprised how many people will see a flyer and be like, I know that person. Right? So we have other avenues of investigators.
Any other questions?